Hey everyone, Summerhill Cinema 700 here with a movie-Blu-ray review on the 1982 film Vigilante, starring Fred Williamson, Robert Forster, and Richard Bright. Um, I got this movie probably, I don't know, 2017 or 2018, I'm gonna guess. I can't remember for sure. And I haven't watched it since then until yesterday, watching it again. And I gotta say, watching this a second time, I definitely enjoyed it a lot more than I did the first time. It's a really fun vigilante revenge type flick. And this one's directed by William Lustig, who is known for his films Maniac, as well as the Maniac Cop franchise. And he's also, I don't know if he's the owner, he created Blue Underground too, this label, which is really cool. So let's just get right into the plot of the movie. I have a couple notes here to keep me on track, but for the most part, it's a fairly basic plot, so I shouldn't have too much time. So this film was released in 1982 at the Cannes Film Festival, but had its wide theatrical release in 1983. But we'll just say that it's from 1982 because that's when it technically came out. Um, but basically, Robert Forster's character, he's a factory worker. He works in this shop. It almost looks like a mechanic type shop, but I believe it's like some sort of factory. And his coworkers are Fred Williamson, as well as Richard Bright and another guy. And they're working in this shop. And basically, what Robert Forster's character isn't aware of is that Fred Williamson and his buddies, his coworkers, have this vigilante group. Basically, they go around town and they're getting rid of these guys that are committing crimes. They're tired of the crime and scum in the city. And what happens at one point is this woman ends up getting like raped by this guy, and then they the next day go and basically jump him, pull him in the van, beat the shit out of him. So they're doing this vigilante type stuff. And Robert Forster, I guess he's not really aware of it at this point. But what happens is his wife one day is at a gas station getting some gas and whatnot. And the gas owner is just standing outside, and this group of these gang members roll up in this car and they attack the guy. They douse him in gasoline. She runs up to them. She's like, "Stop! What are you doing?" And she slaps one of the gang members in the face. There's a cop car rolling by, so they basically take off. Long story short, what ends up happening his Robert Forster's wife goes home with her kid, her young son. It's probably just a toddler, and they go home. They're putting their stuff away, whatnot, and she looks out the window and she sees the same car that was at the gas station of these gang members. And next thing you know, they break into her house, and she ends up getting killed. Same with their young child, which is so horrible. And at this point, of course, Robert Forster's character finds out about it. He rushes home to find that his family has been killed. Next thing you know, he's in court, but of course, the people who committed these horrible crimes, kill his family, get off easily. One of the lawyers is corrupt. He's played by Joe Spinell, who was also in Maniac, another one of William Lustig's films, like I mentioned before. So he's like this corrupt lawyer, and basically one of the guys pays him off, and somehow, I don't know, they're working with the judge to get them off easy. So they get out easy. The guy only gets like a 2-year sentence, and of course Robert Forster freaks out. He's like, "What are you talking about? He killed my family." So he freaks out at the judge. He's in contempt of court, and he ends up going to prison because of the way that he freaked out in jail. And so at this point, we see a little bit of what's going on in jail. He's getting beat up and all this stuff. We see a little bit of his jail life, the short amount of time that he's in there, and then he ends up getting out. And then at this point, he goes up to Fred Williamson and he's like, "I'm in. Count me in. I'm a part of this vigilante group now. We got to get revenge on these guys." So basically, they end up, yeah, they get revenge. There's two guys in particular in this gang. The one guy that has a beard, and this other guy with a headband. And first, they take out the guy with the beard. He's the one who was responsible for killing his wife. They break into his apartment and shoot him as well as his girlfriend. They take them out. And then basically what happens is then he ends up, they take out these guys. There's also a scene too where they beat up this drug dealer because he's selling drugs to young kids on the street. So just see all these things that are happening. And but yeah, of course, so they track down the guy with the beard and they end up killing him. At this point, after they killed that guy, Robert Forster's wife is recovering in the hospital still, so he goes to visit her there, and she's just so distraught that she just wants to leave, I guess, and have her own life now and forget about everything. She wants out of the house because she doesn't want to be anywhere near where her son was murdered. And Robert Forster's character basically does the same thing. He just packs his stuff into his van and takes off. Well, while he's leaving the city, he all of a sudden sees the guy, the black dude with the headband, who killed his son in the home invasion. And basically he's like, "You fucker," and he gets out of his van and chases him. And first there's a foot chase, and then there's an awesome car chase, and he basically ends up chasing him all the way to this this big construction site, or it's definitely like an industrial area. And they climb up these like big staircases all the way up to this like super high area up top in this like industrial kind of place. And he's like, he gets the guy and he's like, "You killed my son." And the guy's like, "Fuck him." He's like, "This don't mean shit to me, man." Robert Forster's character, of course, just without hesitation, just takes him and throws him right off the large foundation that they're standing on. Of course, he falls to his death. But that's not it. He has to get revenge on the judge too, because remember, the judge let these guys off very easily. So he plants a bomb in the judge's car and blows up the judge. And that's basically where the movie ends. So yeah, it's a fairly basic plot. It's a little bit cliche with like the whole vigilante. You can definitely feel that this movie definitely was inspired a lot by the Death Wish movies. At this point, I guess in 1982, had Death Wish 2 even come out? I think that's when Death Wish 2 came out. I can't remember for sure. But I think this movie is a very fun and entertaining film. The only thing that I think that I would have I wish that the guys who had killed his family kind of got punished worse, because, you know, they did such a horrible thing, and their demise in this movie just ends so quick, especially the guy that he throws off the building. It's just, there's not really any struggle or fight. There should have been more of a fight, but it just happens so quick. So that's the only thing that I would have changed with this movie. I wish that there was more of a battle between Robert Forster's character and these guys, because of course they didn't kill his wife, but they ruined his wife's life and killed their son. But I think this movie is very realistic too in a lot of senses, because a lot of times in society, I think that is what happens, is that criminals get off easy, and like the innocent victim is the one who's basically punished. And that happens especially where I live in Canada. You hear so many times where somebody will murder somebody, or there's a serial killer or a rapist. Yeah, I said serial killer, that's right. And literally here in Canada, like, you can murder someone and basically just get like 8 years in jail, and then a lot of that time gets cut off, and the person only ends up serving like 2 years in jail. There was actually a story a few years ago here where a guy was on a bus and he cut a guy's head off and then started eating him on the bus. This is a real story that happened here in Canada, and the guy's out now. This was like less than 10 years ago, I believe. And they just said that he's mentally ill, so he's got to take his medication. It's just fucking insane. And then the innocent victims, the people that were on that bus, have to now live with the PTSD from that. So it's pathetic the way that, I don't want to rant on about the way the justice system is, but I think that this movie has a very real message behind it. Yeah, and all the cast, everybody that was in this film was really great. Again, Fred Williamson's always fun to watch. Robert Forster is great in this film. And then, I always forget the other guy's name that I had mentioned earlier. Richard Bright, who was in films such as Marathon Man. He was in The Godfather 1 and 2, as well as Once Upon a Time in America, Panic at Needle Park, tons of movies. But his character was good too. And then the other guy there was 4 of them in total in the Vigilante group. I can't remember who the other one was, but they all did a great job. The gang members too played their characters really well, especially the black guy. He was like, he just played such a good villain in this movie, like a villain with no remorse. The guy with the beard too, with kind of like the kind of like Fidel Castro hat. He was good too. So everybody, I thought, did a good job. The actors and actresses, his wife too. There's a really cool scene too that I forgot to mention, because the cinematography in this movie is really great. And there's a scene where they're under this bridge. I can't remember which one it is. It's not the Manhattan or Brooklyn. It's that other really cool bridge that's on the cover of actually the movie Manhattan, I believe. There's a scene of it in the New York Ripper. It's such a cool looking bridge. There's a scene where Robert Forster's character is with his wife, and they're under that bridge in this beautiful park. It's just a really beautiful scene. and the sun's playing with like this remote control airplane, and just they pan up this shot from the bridge, and then they go down and they show them all in this really just gorgeous park, and I really loved that scene. So the cinematography in this was great, and like all the shots just were really great. Um, the car chase scene was very awesome. There's better car chase scenes, but there's a lot worse. I mean, this was definitely a really fun one to watch. The music was really fun. There's parts of it where there's like synthesizers and this and that, and then other parts where it's just kind of like the intro theme that you heard at the start of this video. Just really cool music. Um, Overall, the action was pretty good. Again, I wish that there had been a little bit more, punishment to these assholes that is responsible for destroying Robert Forster's family and his life. And again, it's kind of like a typical revenge flick. A guy's family dies and he goes to get revenge on them. So, but overall, it's a very entertaining film. If you like action movies, you'll like this. If you like the Death Wish series, you'll definitely like this film. It's definitely a fun one. I highly recommend it. It's, again, one of those films, too, that you might enjoy the second time you watch it. So let's see here. So this is a new 2K high definition transfer from the original uncut and uncensored negative. This Blu-ray 2 came out quite a while ago, 2010, so over 10 years ago, but they actually recently released a 4K UHD version of this, which I think has a lenticular slipcover, I believe. I don't think it comes with the soundtrack, but you get the 4K UHD plus Blu-ray, and there's some new special features on that too. But this one has an audio commentary with William Lustig and co-producer Andrew Garoni, as well as an audio commentary with the co-producer and director William Lustig and Robert Forster, Fred Williamson, and Frank Pesci. That sounds really fun. Theatrical trailers, TV spots, radio spot, promotional reel, and still gallery. So, and actually, considering this Blu-ray is over 10 years old, there's the disc there. The picture quality looks really great, so I can't imagine how good the 4K UHD version must look. But this was a really fun film. I definitely recommend it. Anything with Fred Williamson is always fun, and Robert Forster does a great job in this film. Everyone, like I said, did a really good job in my opinion, and it's just a really well-made movie for the most part. So that's 1982's Vigilante. There's only one way to stop them. Thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know what you think of this film. Have you seen it before? Do you plan on watching it? Do you have the 4K version? How does that compare to this one here? What does that look like? So thank you very much for watching this video, and we'll see you next time, everyone. Have a great day.